Hi everyone, and I'm back with my art journal from scratch with limited supplies, and I've reached the center of my notebook, and because I've got simple staples here, I think it's called staples, I'm just going to cover it with masking tape just so it will make my life easier. I want to do a double spread here. Now you don't have to, and it depends what you've picked to be your art journal, because we've talked about it that it can be in a simple notebook like I'm using, or it can be in a book, in a day planner, whatever you've got. So here we go. Now I want to do, the page I want to do today is with this image that I've picked from, found in a magazine. I'm going to cut it, but before I'm starting with this, I want to create a background, and I want some greens. Oopsie, moved the camera. Some greens, maybe a little bit of turquoise, and I don't know, we'll play with the colors. So what I want to do, I'll just put some, now these are simple acrylic paints and they are very old. I'm trying to finish them and be done with them. Okay, so we've got some of this and some of this, just so I will have enough to play with. Now you don't have to have all these shades of green, and you can just add white and play with it. It's really up to you. You can also add yellow. Okay, so I think I'm trying to think if I want a brush, or yeah, let's go with a brush, just large soft brush, and yeah, no planning going into it. I'm just going to start spreading. Just want variation in the color, and I also want a in between colors. I haven't reached yet for the turquoise. I want first to play with the greens that I've got, and then see if I want to add some turquoise to the mix. I think I want a little bit more from this darker color. So now I'm taking a little bit of the turquoise. Just letting everything blend and create in between shades. So a very, very simple start to the background. Yeah. Okay. So this needs to dry. I want to create some kind of stencil, and as we've done before, I'm just going to take a magazine page because it's glossy and it's very easy to make stencils out of this kind of stuff. So what I want to be in the background is some kind of leaf. So I'm just doing it freehand, something like that. And of course I can go all over the page and do it, or just part of. really there is no no rules to it. So what I'm going to do is just use my nail scissors and go inside its shape and cut it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just going to be part of the background. Okay. Usually when I do my stencils, I'm using acetate, but we are working, as I said, this is all this series is about doing everything from scratch and with limited supplies, with things that you can find everywhere and not have to spend a lot of money or travel to specialty shops to buy something. So yeah. Okay, almost done. Again, could have done lots more leaves, but I'll just keep to this. Especially that I know that I want to do leaves in the background around here, and the center is going to be my focal image, which is these birds from the magazine. So I'm not really bothering doing more. Okay, so almost dry enough for me to start. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm thinking I want some yellow and maybe white. So yeah, I'm not sure about this color. No, it's too... I'll take this yellow with, and I will put also white. Okay, so now I need a makeup sponge. I use this kind of makeup sponges with in this shape just because I find that they are a little bit more easy to hold, and each time I am just getting rid of the dry paint and I can use it again. So here we go. I'm starting with the white and just taking a hint of yellow, dabbing the excess and starting to stencil. Now I'm going very lightly because this is part of the background and I'm not looking for something to be too much. So, and if of course if I'm doing this and I feel like it's not enough, I can always go back and do another layer. So I really like it. I just feel that I need a little bit here. So here we are, like this. And I'm going to go around. And stencil away. Again, white and yellow, and I'm alternating between the two. There is no and I can also flip my stencil and do it like this. I'm not too bothered by it right now, so I'm just going to continue like this. Now, of course, as I stencil more and more, starts to a little bit warp, but it's okay. It's not that important. That's why it's good enough to be used as a stencil. And I can also wait for it to dry if I'm concerned that it will be damaged. So, and of course I can do another piece on the paper and just make more leaves. It's so easy, you've seen me do it, so it really doesn't matter. But most of the time I find that I can stencil away, and I can also overlap. I think that's what I'm going to do here. It doesn't have to be a standalone. I need more white. Yep. I think I'll let it dry a little bit so I can continue stenciling, and I'll be back. Okay, so finished stenciling and just overlapped some so it would look more interesting. And as you can see, there are some leaves that are more white and others more yellow, and that's what gives it a more interesting look. And I'm going to start now with my focal point. I want to cut it out. Now I'm not going to use all of it. I want the birds and some of the branch that they are sitting on, but not all of it. And let's see. I'm more interested in the birds and the branch than all the other details. So details that are not interesting to me, I just discard when I'm fussy cutting. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I think I'll just go like this. Okay, now any image that you are taking out of a magazine, you can decide what details you want, what details you don't want. And of course, you can use the image as is. I could also go and cover everything with black and use it as a silhouette. That's another option to go with. So that's my image, but of course, as you can see, it doesn't pop on the page. I I want to do something that will encase my image, and I want a circle, like, I don't know, like a sun behind it. I don't know. So I'm going to use to see what will fit here. I think I'll go with something like that. These are templates that I've done from ugly papers that I had, so I didn't mind using it as a template, and it just saves me time. Maybe I will go with the smaller one. Yeah, I'm going with this one. Okay, so now I'm just going to need some printer paper or anything, if you've got anything a little bit thicker than that, also can be used. And I'm just going to trace it, and then I want to color it. I'm thinking I've got some yellow here left, and maybe gold, we'll see. And just so it would be more interesting, I'm thinking of some undertone of the turquoise. So let's see, I'm going to take a hard bristle brush, something like that. These are my oldest and cheapest brushes, and I love them. And I'm going to start with the turquoise. I'm taking very small amount of the turquoise, and I'm just going to dab it here. Oops, once again, move the camera. Let's move this aside before I'm doing any more damage. So I want some of the turquoise to peek through, and that's why I'm putting it here. And now I'm going for the yellow, and of course it will make some kind of green, but that's okay. This is just building up the layers. We'll see what will come out of it. I'm sorry, my brush is a bit long, and whatever is holding my phone to make this video is lowered so much that I keep getting the brush to move everything. So yeah, this is the start, and now I want some gold. Okay, now with the gold I'm not overly trying to dab it and get rid of the excess. Most of, don't know what to call it, orb is going to be gold. All the yellow and the turquoise are just an undertone to the gold. And I'll probably have to wait for it to dry and even do a second layer of the gold. So okay, what I also like with this kind of brush is that it gives me also a little bit of texture. So yeah, okay, I'm going to let this dry, and when it's dry I will be able to see if I need more gold and how does it look. I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my orb, I've got my focal point, and I want to place it inside here. Not completely, I think, not exactly in the middle. I think I'll place it here. Of course, I'll trim the excess. I'm using this particular glue just because it has a fine nozzle, so it's going to make my life easier. You don't have to use an E6000 or whatever variation there is of it. You can use whatever glue you have. Okay, so that's the place, and now I'm going to trim this. Okay, and again, glue in the back. Yeah. Just making sure it's in place. Yeah. Okay, so I really like it, but I want to add a little bit more definition to everything, and I'm going to use this 10B pencil. Anything above 6B is you can use. It's just darker and softer graphite. I want to add some a shadow or a, I don't know what to call it, just a little bit here at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is just smear it with my finger. You can also use a Q-tip if that's what you prefer. You can use a makeup sponge. All kinds of ways to go about it. So a little bit like this. And also I want to add something to my background. I really like the leaves. I was a bit cautious about making them too visible on my background, but now I feel like I need a little bit more definition, and I'm just going to go around them with some contour line. And now this is just preference. You can use regular felt pens, you can use all kinds of just black pens if that's what you are after. I think I'll just use something like this. Let's see, I'll just test it. Not sure about the color, so let's see something else. I'm always testing. Let's see. Yeah, I like this color. And now again, I can go about it like this, or I can go with a more let's say freehand line. Usually I like to go with a squiggly line, but I think today I will go like this. If I feel it needs something else more free and less precise, that's what I'm going to do. I will do it later. No rules to it. You can go about it however you want. I can also go in between the leaves and darken around it, either with again the same pencil or with a darker acrylic paint. All kinds of ways to go about it. I'm not overly concerned about being precise, so I'm doing it very quickly. That's the thing. It's always better to start with something that even will look faded, and later on see if you need to add something more. You can't subtract, but you can always add more layers, more definition. My felt pen, I think, is dying on me, so I need to find another one in the same shade. This one also is dying. What can you do? Another way to go about adding some more definition, you can use a felt pen very lightly, and it needs to be done quickly. Basically, it can be used like a watercolor, either directly or not directly. I'm going to show you what I mean in a moment. I'll just finish with this. Yeah, okay, so if I want to darken the rest in between, two ways to go about it. As I said, I can but I wouldn't use it here. It needs to be with something. How do I explain it? If the acrylic paint, and that's what we used here, if I've used it more with a more thick layer, maybe I would have done it directly. I would put the felt pen like this and immediately went with a brush with water on top of it. It will activate it and make it like a watercolor. But another way to go about it is to take your felt pen on any kind of non-porous surface, and you can hardly see it here, and then take a brush, a fine brush. Let's take a brush with a little bit of water like so, and then go in between. Now you can hardly see it. Again, mostly it's because felt pens don't have a lot of pigment, but it can be done. I'm going with a darker color so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm putting down the felt pen, taking a little bit of water on my brush, and now I can go like this in between and just make at least what's close to the edges a little bit darker. Now you don't have to, it's just one option. What I am going to do is go and do something very simple. I'm going to take a darker, maybe I'll just use this one, the darker green, and the sponge that we've used, taking the green, dabbing excess, and now I will just go around like this. Now it's not overly dark or anything, but I can, again, you can decide if you want darker, if you want to go over again, because the acrylic paint is not that opaque. And of course I could have gone with a darker shade of green, but I decided to, this was enough. and I didn't want to distract from the rest of the page. It's just a little bit of framing your page. That's it. Nothing to it, and just felt like a little bit more definition was needed. Okay, don't know how much of it you can see, but there you go. Of course, you can decide on more dramatic look. You can go with black, with a dark blue. I can even use again the 10B pencil and do the same, go all over and smear it with my finger. Another way to go about it. Now I'm going to do add some more details, because I've used gold for the orb that is behind these two birds. I thought about using glitter glue. Again, you don't have to. I have it. I think you can find it in most cheap stores. So, and it's in school supplies, so it's something that can be it's not expensive, and it can be found in lots of places. Now again, you don't have to use glitter glue. I just thought it would be fun to add it to my page. You can use the gold acrylic paint. I'm just going to do some, like, I don't know, like dots in between the leaves. Now right now it's thick, but when it dries it's going flat, so I'm not worried about it. Just adding some details. Another way, if you don't have glitter glue, there are cheap polish nails that you know what, I'm just going to play with it like so, almost like it's some kind of a flower. So what I started to say, cheap nail polish can also be used. Oh, I'm already loving it. Of course, I will have a long wait for this to dry, but that's okay. This is the finishing touch for this page, so I'm not planning on doing any more. Maybe just a stem that will connect the dots that I'm doing with this, but otherwise I don't care. And again, it doesn't need to be with glitter glue. You can do whatever you want. You can use any kind of markers just to add something more to your page. It doesn't even have to be dots. It's really up to your imagination to do whatever you like. Okay, yeah, so really liking it. Have to wait for it to dry, and then I'll be back. Okay, so most of it is dry, all the glitter glue, and I'm taking the same regular felt pen and just making some connection between the dots and the leaves, just having fun with it, nothing to it, very simple, not overthinking it. Now you don't have to do it, it's just something that I felt that I needed to do to add something more to let's say the wild garden that I have here. I can also make more lines like so. As I said, this is completely and utterly not planned. You can do whatever you feel like. I think this here is still wet because it's not completely flat, so I'm trying to be careful and not ruin my marker. I hope you can see all the details here. Almost done. You see, I'm just having fun with it. Yeah, so yeah, this is it. I'm really liking this page. I hope you do too, and that you will try your hand at making something that simple. And you don't have to have this kind of image. It can be anything else. It's just something that I found in a magazine, and you can take it any way you want. It doesn't even have to be an orb behind your focal point. It can be anything. So I hope you liked it, and thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving me comments down below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.